with that down and out of the way, let's move on to main topic number 2. And our second main topic today gets submitted to us by the Weakest Avenger, who writes, Mulan has become the latest film to be pulled, quote unquote, indefinitely from the release schedule. I guess we can't say it's any sort of surprise with Tenet moving. Do you think they can still release something sometime in 2020? Why can't we just do what Japan did? They never had a lockdown and they're almost completely back to normal now. What do you think? All right. Thanks a lot for sending that in, man. And yeah, I mean, look, I'm not gonna lie. I get a little bit downhearted when I look at how other countries have dealt with the situation and done it properly. Like Japan, after I got this question, I went and did some reading on it. Japan is a country that has almost 100% adoption of wearing face masks everywhere amongst its population, nearly 100%. And even though the United States doesn't even have 3 times the amount of population that Japan does, they have over 100 times more cases and deaths from COVID. As a matter of fact, Japan just announced the end of the state of emergency. They just announced the end of their state of emergency. I mean, so it is a little thing. Do I think they can still get this thing out in 2020? Yes, I still think they can. Will they is another question. But let's go over and look at the situation right now. This comes to us from Variety. A representative from Disney said this talking about Mulan. Oh, and specifically asked, why not give a new release date right now? They said this: over the past few months, it has become clear that nothing can be set in stone when it comes to how we release films during this global health crisis. And today, that means pausing our release plans for Mulan as we assess how we can most effectively bring this film to audiences around the world. That, of course, comes from a representative at Disney. And Rob, I don't think this was really any sort of surprise to anybody, especially once Tenet moved. It only became an academic matter about when does Mulan announce that they're moving. I mean, really at that point, it was just a matter of when do they announce it, because they've really kind of tied themselves, schedule out. They've moved whenever Tenet has moved. Tenet made their move. We knew Mulan was going to move. And right now, they're not even saying at this moment when they think they're going to be able to put it out. Maybe it's naive. I still believe that 2020 is on the board. I'm not saying definitely. I'm just saying I think it's still on the board because we still have 6 months left in the year, 5 months left in the year. It's possible they could. They want to. Whether they will actually be able to do that or not, that's another question. But it just becomes, again, a situation of none of us are surprised anymore. It's almost not even worth it anymore to talk about this stuff. A movie gets bumped. Yeah, that's like a daily occurrence at this point. But Mulan was significant because it and Tenet kind of became those, canaries in the coal mine for us.
Right.
We've been seeing wherever they go, those two movies go, that kind of tells us what the conditions are right now. And so it moving is rather significant. Anyway, Rob, I'm sure no surprise, but you hear about the official moving of Mulan. What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, we talked about this a lot on the show. These films they're so expensive that they need to recoup. We're talking $800 million to $1 billion. And the only way they can do that is with a massive worldwide release in movie theaters. And it becomes academic. They don't have a choice. And whether it's No Time to Die, whether it's Tenet, whether it's Mulan, these films require the global box office to survive. I mean, Disney, they can't afford to release this film on their streaming service. It has to make money. So unfortunately, this was not unexpected, and they need China, and they need the U.S. And they don't have a choice.
It's not the popular thing to say, but I think I've been looking forward to Mulan as much as Tenet. I've just only because I was really
great.
I think it looks
so
beautiful.
Good.
Yeah. So I've been looking forward to it almost as much. I'll say close, almost as much as Tenet. So it's disappointing to hear. Question here is, guys, any surprise? I mean, really, none of us surprised to hear this, but it is, again, the canary in the coal mine. It has moved now. When it will actually finally come out, Disney's not willing to say yet. What are your guys' thoughts on this? Jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. All right.